Drawing upon your courage, you toss the janky telescope aside and charge ahead with looks like a monster, but it's not moving like any monster you've ever seen. The sight of you startles it away. Good work. You gradually become aware of a voice calling out to your party. Looking around, you spy an old man. You yank the old man free. Oh, while you're here, it seems an old friend of his lives in Nexton. He says he'll make it worth your while. Will you show him the way to Nexton? You ask the old man about himself. It turns out he belongs to a wealthy family. Visions of lavish, you offer him safe passage to Nexton. The wealthy old man looks considerably relieved as the party sets foot inside Nexton. He reaches into his pack and hands you a pouch full of gold. The next instant, he takes off for the center of town, shouting, "I shall be there soon, my love." Something's catching the sunlight just so. You move closer. You find a chest lodged in the hollow of a tree. Something about this feels familiar. Sure enough, this is the location those thieves mentioned when you were eavesdropping. Quite convinced you found their stash, you open the chest with a self-satisfied smirk on your face. discover a fine fishing spot. Some boughs perfect for fishing rods lie on the ground nearby. You decide to fish a while with your companions. You craft a simple... As you wait for a bite, all your companions' rods bend at once. You decide to put your unresponsive rod down and help someone else with theirs. The line is pulled tighter and tighter. Something is raging on the water's bed. You and Melanie pull on the rod together, and out pops a tasty-looking fish. Your stomach growls. Melanie looks at you with astonishment, then scoffs. "At least cook it first," she quips. Though peeved at being laughed at, you follow Melanie's advice. You spy a rather large number of monster prints on the ground. A wry smile plays across your lips as you remove the scrap of paper from your pack. You pull from your pack the scrap of paper you picked up just north of Castle Advent. You feel around in the grass for a few moments before your hand strikes something surprisingly firm. The scrap of paper tells no lies. You greedily open the chest. About the enemy. Nice work. Don't hold back. a rock down the road, muttering about what jerks those three from the Ivory Order are. Cut it out, chides Melanie. She warns you your anger will only come back to bite you in the rear. You grumble, but your sulking is cut short when out of the thicket leaps a monster. The rock you kicked must have hit it because it is really mad. Brace yourself for battle. About the enemy. Picks up speed. A tornado is forming. You anticipate the tornado's path correctly and avoid getting swept up. And fight. Pitch black inside the cave. Who knows what dangers lurk within? Maybe you should prepare first. Light can't reach the furthest depths of the cave. It may be impossible to proceed without a torch. You make your exit. And fight. Welcome. 100 gold pieces. You will be instantly transported to any location you've previously visited. Travel for 100 gold pieces? The man said, and he adds, it just so happens you can buy them at the item shop. You get the feeling he probably works for said shop. The man scours his skin with a washcloth. Apparently, he blames his natural musk for his... You catch a whiff of scent wafting off him. An idea strikes you. Maybe getting rid of the toxins within the body would get rid of the odor without, too. You hand him an antidote and he chugs it down. As soon as he's finished, overjoyed, the man resolves to tell the person he likes how he feels. From his breast pocket, the man pulls out something to give you in thanks. This is the game parlor. Come play cards, the boy at reception calls. Good job. The boy praises you, proffering a gift in commemoration of your first win. Apparently, monsters have been mugging people along this stretch of road lately. The Ivory Order is searching for where they're stashing the stolen goods. It seems the sound of a flute could once often be heard coming from the doctor's house. His neighbors complained about the noise, though, and all has been quiet since. Well, if it isn't the head of the National Inn Association's son, the innkeeper blurts out, overcome with surprise. You've clearly been mistaken for someone else, but the innkeeper looks so excited that you dare not burst or bubble. Your room is free. The woman tells you a monster stole something very valuable from her. What did it steal, you ask? Medicine, says the woman, to give my skin a lustrous glow. How may I help you? The proprietress inquires. Will that be all? The proprietress asks. The woman, who fashions herself a missionary of love, haughtily cries she's too beautiful and popular for her own good. Cyprian Ambre, Cyprian Amber, has lived here for many years, conducting research on monsters. All the townsfolk affectionately call him Cypri. If anyone knows anything about the dragon, it's him. He's a veritable monster expert. You ask Cypri if he says he'll tell you if you do him a favor. The monsters stole a precious treasure from him. If you reclaim the treasure, Cypri promises to tell you all he knows about the dragon. It seems the treasure-thieving monster makes its hideout in the western cave, That's where you'll want to head. Light the torch. It'll be much easier to explore now with your surroundings better illuminated. Though the torch lights your immediate surroundings, you still cannot peer far into the distance. About the enemy. That was lucky. The ground tinkles beneath your feet. You look down to find it is littered with empty medicine bottles. A message is carved into the ground. A bitter final missive from an adventurer done in by monsters, perhaps. The door is shut tight. It's upon closer examination of the door, you spot a cavity that looks like some sort of sphere should go there. You put the magic sphere into the cavity, and the door opens. Let's do this. claret trail leads you deeper into the cave. Was the walking wounded a monster or a human? A knot forms in your gut. You raise the torch to get a better look at your surroundings. Another message comes into view, written in tiny letters among the scars. What horrors transpired here? Press on, deeper into the cave. Light floods into the chamber, illuminating a scene so startling you nearly drop the torch altogether. Two mummified bodies lie close beside one another. Beside them, a message written in blood. We leave together. Perhaps they were lovers? Whatever the case, you notice the bellwether nestled in their hands. You gently pry it free, bend a knee, and say a small prayer for the dearly departed. Rout the enemy. Excellent. Nice work. Excellent. Let's do this. Nice work. That was lucky. Don't hold back. Excellent. You make to open the chest, but an ominous voice echoes around you. I will not relinquish my hoard. The next instant, something leaps at you out from the darkness. That was lucky. The monster defeated, you turn toward the treasure chest and see those Ivory Order jerks rooting through it. You rush over, but you're too late to stop them. Sweet of you to take care of the monsters for us, trills Winifred, favoring you with a smile. Tucking the spoils from the chest safely into a bag, the Ivory Order trio stroll away whence they came. Knowing you couldn't stop them if you tried, you can do nothing but stand slack-jawed and watch them go. The chest is empty, save for a ragged doll. Nice of them to leave us the trash, you grumble in irritation. For some reason, Melanie picks up the ragged doll. Your shoulders slump. All that effort, and this is all you get to show for it? You find nothing else even close to treasure. Hope Cypri is ready for bad news. Leave now would be the fastest way out. You decide to stay and explore the cave a little longer. And five. Fight. Good work. Let's do this. Let's do this. Were you able to find my treasure? Cypri asks. This is all we found, says Melanie, withdrawing the ragged doll. Cypri's eyes widen as soon as he sees the doll, and he reaches out to take it. Without breaking his gaze away from the doll, he begins to speak. Cypri tells you he gifted this doll to his young daughter a long time ago, but she fell gravely ill and died. Since then, Cypri has treasured this doll as he treasured his daughter. Then the monsters took it from him. Cypri turns to Melanie, his head bowed deeply in gratitude. So you reclaimed the treasure by complete accident. You step closer to Cypri. What do you know about the dragon? You rudely inquire. Cypri gestures as if to say, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Far to the east of town is a place called Unionville, where monsters and humans live together in harmony. According to Cypri, you might be able to learn something there, as the dragon and monsters are not totally unrelated. Upon hearing that, you turn on your heel to leave. Cypri calls out to stop you. Journeying to Unionville entails traversing the dense expanse of the bewildering wood. You'll need this, he says, and holds out something for you. You won't make it through the bewildering wood without it, Cypri says. Your sights set on the distant Unionville, you resolve to navigate through the bewildering wood. You have found the Western Stela, which you swear up and down was not here when you came in. Nevertheless, you give it a smack. You have found all 4 of the Stela in the bewildering wood. On a perhaps related note, you hear a sound emanating from the east. The woman appears to be lost. How do I get out of here? She asks with furrowed brows. Fortune favors the bold. Congrats. bunch of nuts fly off from the trees, but you and your friends hightailed it out of there before any of them could hit you. You examine the stela. The message carved into the stela reads, "Play in tune with the forest." You hold the woodland flute you received from the good doctor in Thriston. Doot 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 doodly, doot 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 doot. You blow a handful of pleasant enough notes into the woodland flute. You soon become aware of accompanying percussion, which reveals itself to be a series of impeccably timed footfalls racing toward you. A young woman appears before you. "That was absolutely dreadful," she whinges, her jaunty gait betraying her enjoyment. She calls herself Riddis and declares herself a woodlander, resident of the bewildering wood. By sheer coincidence, the flute on which you played those notes was one designed to call the woodland people to your side. Stunned by your good fortune, you ask Riddis to lead you eastward out of the forest. What luck! She agrees far more readily than you ever anticipated. But, she continues, extending her hand, you'll have to hand over the woodland flute first. "That'll cost you 1,000 gold pieces," you say smugly. "Ugh, it's always about money with you travelers," she snorts derisively. Her face contorts in disgust. She reaches into her cloak. "Hey, what about my money?" you stammer. Before you can finish your thought, Mar's tongue whips across your hand, snatching the fruit and sliding it into his gullet. Riddis gasps. How could you let him do that? Just one of those fruits sells for 10,000 gold pieces, she shouts. So you can pay me back for the fruit your little friend stole, or you can hand over that flute, she says, pressing her case. I think you've lost this one, Melanie says, snickering. You look down at Mar, who seems quite pleased with himself. I suppose I have, you sigh in resignation. You begrudgingly hand the woodland flute to Riddis. Riddis plucks the woodland flute out of your hands with glee and begins playing it as she skips away. Well, playing is a generous term. It sounds as though she may as well be murdering the poor thing. Riddis makes it clear that the fastest way out of the woods is through woodland, where she lives. It's that-a-way, Riddis says gleefully, pointing past the stela before you. Welcome to Woodland, Riddis says, gesturing out over the village. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm quite busy for the rest of the day. So you'll have to wait till tomorrow to leave the forest, she says, and makes her way home. Welcome to the Forest Oasis, the man greets you warmly. You happen upon a man greedily guzzling well water. Could it truly be that much better than ordinary water? Been a while since we've had any outsiders, the innkeeper says, beckoning the party inside. It turns out this inn is simply a place where the poor, lost souls trapped in the bewildering wood may recover. You may stay as long as you like, free of charge. You learn that Ridis's family is mired in debt and living hand to mouth. And I know how they got in so much trouble, the rumor mongerer says deliciously. We are not in the business of meddling in the personal affairs of others, Melanie says curtly, cutting her off. Apparently she's heard rumors of the dragon destroying another town somewhere. Our village would burn down so easily, she mutters, perhaps a bit more afraid of the symptom than the cause. This shortcut is reserved for use by woodland citizens only, the guard barks, clearly unwilling to let you pass. Ridis pores over a book while practicing on the woodland flute. The instant you begin speaking, she nearly leaps out of her skin and hides the book. She somehow hadn't noticed you. I thought you were the debt collectors. You can't sneak up on me like that, she stammers, struggling to regain her composure. You take note of a woman who appears quite ill. As it turns out, she is none other than Ridis's mother. She is in no small amount of pain. Will you give her something to ease her suffering? The item you've proffered has no effect on her illness, but I appreciate the thought all the same, she says with a smile. Ridis's mother hands you mysterious card 3 as a token of her gratitude. She begins speaking of Ridis, who has been preparing the medicine that helps her get through the day. She blames her illness, and therefore herself, for making Ridis's life so difficult. The more she talks, the more her face drops. Here to stay the night? The innkeeper asks the moment you set foot in the inn. The wooden dining table practically groans under the weight of the platters upon it, all brimming with meats and vegetables from the bewildering wood. I've certainly earned this, you say to yourself, as you slide into your seat at the table, positively drooling over the feast before you. Melanie takes no note of your boorish behavior, uttering a small prayer of thanksgiving before reaching for a plate of vegetables. Mar sits, eyes fixed on the food upon the table, statuesque in his stillness. What a good boy. Mar clears the entire table in a matter of seconds, even emptying the water barrel in a single gulp. He lets out a self-satisfied burp that sends a small jet of just-drank water arcing out onto the floor. The sun sinks low, and the day draws to a close. A scream pierces the silence. Fire! You leap out of bed, adrenaline coursing through your veins. The others follow suit, and before long you've burst through the front door and into the street. Riddis's house is ablaze, a nearby villager screams. My mother is still inside, Riddis shrieks, darting past you to fetch water from the well south of the village. Riddis is gathering water in an attempt to fight the blaze all on her own. Mar's eyes light up. He scrambles over the edge of the well and sucks the well dry in an instant. He pokes at his swollen belly and gestures toward Riddis's house, as if to say, "Get me back there, quick." Quickly, put it out. You have to put it out, Riddis screams at Mar. Mar douses the house with the water he sucked up from the well. The fire is reduced to mere embers, and all is well. Or so you think. Something darts out from behind the house and attacks. The fiery beast dispatched, you return to putting out the last of the blaze with Mar's help. Riddis's mother, now safe, tells you the creature came out of nowhere and set the house aflame. What would bring a creature of fire to a place like this, you wonder? Light breaks on a new day, and the commotion of the fire feels but a nightmare. You lead your party to Ridis's house to ask for safe passage out of the bewildering wood. You didn't hear it from me, but the cause of the fire was, she whispers baseless gossip in your ear. Though spared from complete collapse, Ridis's home has been thoroughly scorched. Ridis sits alone in one of its rooms, the air thick with the smell of char. There shouldn't be any fire creatures for miles. She says the monster appeared while she was playing the woodland flute last night. As to why any monsters, let alone fire monsters, appeared, well, despite the circumstances, you ask Ridis to lead you out of the bewildering wood as promised. I did promise that, didn't I? She says wearily, rising from her seat. The poor girl is clearly still in shock. Why do you want to venture out beyond the bewildering wood anyway? She inquires, as she gathers this and that in preparation to leave. We are in search of the dragon, you say valiantly, adding, the reward will be significant should we defeat him. Honesty is the best policy. Sounds like a real risky way to make a living, she replies flatly, feigning interest. A group of Ivory Order people came through here just the other day, she explains. You connect the dots with malice. Those three, you seethe. At last, Ridis is ready to depart for the edge of the bewildering wood. This road takes you to the east side of the bewildering wood, but you'd be hard-pressed to find your way without a woodlander's help, the guard warns. Upon seeing that Ridis is with you, he steps aside and lets you through. The eastern portion of the woods certainly does not want for thick, soupy fog. You turn away, ready to lead the party deeper into the bewildering wood. Wait just a moment, you lot, calls the voice of an older man from somewhere behind you. Ridis appears to be familiar with him. She calls him Mr. O. Here you are, young lady, he says, handing her a slip of paper. Oh dear. Further, Mr. O explains, Ridis did not have a fire insurance policy at the time of the conflagration, and so she shall have to pay in full. I'll thank you kindly to pay by the end of the month. Bye now, Mr. O says, receding from view as he returns to the forest. Hee, Ridis lets out a bemused chuckle, her demeanor remarkably calm for what has just transpired. She pulls the woodland flute from her cloak and begins softly playing. Ridis's ear-splitting performance, shall we say, draws monsters out from behind the trees. Within moments, they are nearly upon you. That's odd. I must have made a mistake, Ridis says, burying her face in her old book once more. She opens the book to a particular page and thrusts it in your face. You can't tell anyone in the village I let you see this, okay? It's a page of sheet music, with a note scrawled beside it that reads, "Play this lucky tune to reverse your financial fortunes and make money woes a thing of the past." No matter how many times I played this last night, our debt never went down, she fumes, incensed. You inspect the page a bit more carefully. Off in a corner, in letters so small as to be illegible, another message reads, "May summon monsters if played incorrectly." You finally see that so long as Ridis holds the flute, this is nothing more than a monster conjuring melody. You snatch the woodland flute from her hands. "You have lost your flute-playing privileges," you inform her. "But I'll never escape from this mountain of debt without it," she cries, clearly still believing in the melody of fortune. Melanie quietly opines that while Ridis is many things, bright is not one of them. You did great. watching favorite.
did great.
That was lucky. And fight. Here, Ritis chirps, pushing overgrown boughs and shrubs aside. As she does, a hidden path out of the bewildering wood comes into view. At last, you are free of the bewildering wood. Praise the power of the woodlanders, you squeal in admiration of Ritis. She giggles bashfully. You've certainly kept your promise, you say. Thank you for showing us the way. I was hoping I could join you on your quest to defeat the dragon, Ritis suddenly blurts out. She takes out her old book and thrusts another page in your face. This week's creature of fortune is the dragon. Boons may befall those who encounter him. Melanie's jaw goes slack. What is the deal with this book? Melanie asks, bewildered. I can probably pay off my debt if we can just defeat the dragon, Ritis chirps, revealing her true intentions. No, I won't dilute my share of the riches any further. No more additions to the party, you bark. Have you no heart? Are you just going to leave a young helpless girl like me to drown in an ocean of debt and deal with that crusty old man? Ritis fires back relentlessly. I want to go. No. So goes the endless chorus of your thoroughly unproductive argument. Melanie calmly reminds you that the party in its current form stands little chance of defeating the dragon. See, you need me, Ritis says, sensing an opportunity. Your well-reasoned argument of no thwarted, you nod your head in resignation and welcome Ritis to the party.